Welcome everybody to our second exciting session, using our social media as a tool to encourage your entrepreneurial mindset. Today, we're lucky enough to interview the amazing Buntu Majaja. Buntu Majaja has been active as an entrepreneur since university, starting with a background in chemical engineering. He took his first steps into the business world as a strategy and innovation consultant. He has since been on 2 startup journeys with hundreds of users and worked with 1,000+ entrepreneurs. Today, he builds digital solutions for entrepreneurship and education. He is the Director of Digital Innovation and Ecosystems at the South African Innovation Summit, where he looks after the Tech Tribe Accelerator and the Tech Tribe community. He's a data science enthusiast and a property investor, and authored the book, Starting Your Startup in 90 Days. He also hosts the Ubuntu Dream podcast, Your Voice of Africa Rising. An amazing, amazing man, and we're incredibly grateful to have a little bit of his valuable time today. We're so happy to have you here, Buntu. So to jump into the first question, here we go. Buntu, you've been an entrepreneur for quite a while now. Can you tell us a little bit about how your entrepreneurship journey started?
So I grew up in the Eastern Cape, small town, small village, and my mother's job always took us town to town. I always like to describe it with the green backgrounds, those hills that you see on Google, with some sheep and rondavels on some of the hills, is always nostalgic to share for me. And by the time I was in university, I went to the University of Pretoria, and I found myself in a large city. And what I saw there was my brothers and sisters on the streets, and I felt as though that could have been me. Had one or two things been different in my life, that could have been me. And after, that time was also a very difficult time family-wise, and paying for school fees. That was around the fees must fall times. Just before that, actually. So I'm glad that young people have made a change. But I realized and decided that the only way I was ever going to contribute and going through this journey of finding myself, that it would be through entrepreneurship. And that would be the only thing that would move the needle. And so I decided to throw away the traditional teaching that I grew up in, that my parents said, work, study hard, get your degree, go and get a job, retire, start a family and retire, and make us proud. And there's never anything wrong with that. But I realized that for me, going to sleep at night, I just couldn't without trying to do something. So we started where we could, on campus, doing marketing, events, and eventually started going into mining. And over time, technology really became the center of what was exciting for me. And I'd probably say, though, it's worth saying that, I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur, or even realize what it means to be an entrepreneur. And I think it's a continuously evolving thing. But what I do know now is that what I believe now is that an entrepreneur is someone who is living their dreams and creating economic value while doing that. And I think that in many ways, every single one of us is and can be an entrepreneur in whatever we are doing, if we decide to live our dreams.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bintu. That was a really, really amazing story, so inspiring. And I know that there are a lot of kids that's currently, just as we've received, the new matric results from the matriculants of 2021, that will be able to relate to, your story and, going on this new journey, and people that want to choose a different path, just knowing that, they have the option to do that is really freeing to so many of us. I know I'm one of those people as well who didn't know there was alternative options. And now that I know, I tell anyone, I scream it from the rooftops, from the mountain. I'll tell anyone who is willing to listen to me. So thank you for sharing your story with us. So I have a question for you. If you had to describe the term or this idea of having an entrepreneurial mindset in one sentence, how would you describe it?
Well, so I think mindset is an interesting term, because it is a way of living. It almost says lifestyle, you can translate it to lifestyle. So we're asking how do we have an entrepreneurial lifestyle and live in an entrepreneurial way? And worth mentioning that there are lifestyle entrepreneurs, which is someone whose lifestyle, it becomes a business and they earn money from that. So, influencers are an example of that. YouTubers who make content are probably an example of that as well. But they have an entrepreneurial mindset in what they're doing. And a very interesting way that I've come to believe is that actually being entrepreneurial is being human. Now, what do I mean by that? If we go, if we go back in time to how people organize themselves as hunter-gatherers, right? We're out in the jungle, trying to fend off lions, trying to survive and keep warm. There will be a couple of things that you do as a group of people. Number one is that you are looking after each other, right? So you're networking. You are also keeping into account, hey, 2 weeks ago, Q brought back some really good fruits and shrubs and stuff. And today I haven't gotten my hunt, or today I didn't find anything. So there's accounting that I'm doing there. And I go to Q and we make an exchange, and there's an unwritten contract that we're going to barter, or maybe now, and no, there's bartering as well. So I think there's that social dynamic, right, around economic acting and being human and taking care of each other and contributing yourself. But the most difficult part, I think, is starting, because that's when you're running your business. And when you're starting, and an example I heard from someone who's been, in business for decades and researching the stuff globally, with some of the leading universities, he said, if you were dropped into the Amazon right now with nothing, and you had to survive, you got no connection, nothing, nowhere to go, you don't know anyone, you're alone, you had to survive. The first thing you'd probably be is thirsty or hungry. And when you are thirsty, you'll look for some water, something to drink. But how will you know the water is safe? You might look at it, you might inspect it. You're probably not going to put your head underneath the waterfall and start drinking everything. You'll probably first take a little bit and smell it, and take a look and inspect it. And then maybe you'll take a sip and wait, 15 seconds to see if anything happens, if it tastes funny, and then you swallow it. Then you might start drinking a little bit more. And then when you're hungry, you might do the same. You might see some fruit or something that looks like you can eat it, but you won't immediately start eating all of them. And the entrepreneurial starting process is the exact same. You look at an opportunity you have to have the curiosity to be looking for it. Means that there's a desire inside of you already, call it thirst, hunger, call it a passion, call it a problem you want to solve. And when you find it, you have to have the courage to taste it. You have to have the courage to reach out and grab it and smell it, and then start going after it and see if you can actually do this for a longer period of time, and maybe it can pay your bills. And if it can pay your bills, how do you expand it? How do you make it more important? And there's all sorts of things that now you can start going to business school for, around the marketing and the management. But that starting part, that's all human in my belief. And so I think if we can be more human-like and childlike in how we approach our passions and dreams, in a way that may make money one day, in other words, be sustainable, the more we can have a mindset of being entrepreneurial.
I love that, Buntu, that thing about being an entrepreneur is human, and that the way we interact with each other is an entrepreneurial mindset. I think we overcomplicate it. So it's nice to go back to the foundation of it and say, we're all entrepreneurs, we all act as entrepreneurs, and it's incredible. And I think that leads to the next question of putting it into a different context, or a more specific context of social media, and how we cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset and interact with each other over social media and in social media. So our next question is, you seem to use your social media platforms quite actively. Do you think your social media platforms help you cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset?
So much for the encouraging words. I wished I used them more. I even have time in my diary, like weekly, to use it for the exact purpose you're saying, but I hardly ever get to it. But the intention is there, right? And I'm trying to get to it, and because I think it's really important. And I think it's important because, yes, absolutely, it's helped me, develop an entrepreneurial mindset. I think it's a lovely question, because I'm even thinking of the first social media platform that I really used for entrepreneurial purposes was YouTube. And this was, and YouTube, of course, is not so much two-way for most people. For most people, it's one way. You consume. So I think there's, those are the two ways of how we go into social media: consume and produce. But on YouTube, there's some powerful content there, right? You can learn anything today on YouTube. And even in the early days of YouTube, there were people who were preaching about entrepreneurship. And that helped me develop at least the passion and the courage to start where I am, start what I got, start as who I am, and figure it out on the way. And over time, I think I thought social media was more of like a marketing tool, and later on more of a branding tool. But I do think it's actually deeper than that for entrepreneurs, because the journey of an entrepreneur is expressing your life in economic terms, and social media is where you are able to tell your story. And of course, there's all sorts of technicalities around that, but and that's something I've only realized lately. And in realizing it, I've come to seeing that, some connections, some people reaching out, some opportunities have come purely from the stories I tell, although limited, should be like 10 times more. Although limited, the stories I tell online, they reach out to people. I mean, today we can't be in a tribe and especially in 2022, we can't meet at the cafes like we used to. And so I've realized that even, yeah, it has certainly helped me to build the mindset, but even have some quantifiable impact on my personal bottom line.
Awesome, thanks, Bintu. I like especially that you mentioned in the beginning that you actively need to schedule time for social media, which I think that most of us should be doing, is, actively putting time aside and, making it an important part of learning from it. And then, obviously that time that you've scheduled for it is going to be used to actually consume content that is going to help you and, enrich your mind and enrich your entrepreneurial mindset, like we're talking about now. Yes,
And I wanna say there as well, because that's a really powerful statement around scheduling your time. Time is putting where your money is. If you're a person, it's time. If you're a business, it's your marketing budget. And if you're a small business, if you think it's important, it's going to show up in your marketing budget. And we also got to budget it in.
Yes. Budget. We should budget our social media time the way we budget for everything else, for our expenses and all of that, because otherwise we spend a lot of time wasting our time on social media, consuming content that we are not going to use or is not going to bring anything further to us. On that point, we just want to know from you, do you have any tips for young people about how they can start using their social media as a tool to encourage their entrepreneurial mindset? And I know you mentioned the YouTube, and in the early days that was all that it was about. But what are some like maybe 5 tips that you have for using your social media as a tool to encourage entrepreneurship? Maybe some people you can follow, some stories you can catch up with, trends and threads, and which platforms as well do you think is good, except for YouTube, for cultivating that?
Yeah, well, YouTube will always be there. I think it is now got its adverts that you can't even watch 5 minutes without losing your mind. But I think a key thing to understand around consuming on social media is that the algorithms you shouldn't be at the mercy of the algorithms, and the algorithms must be at your mercy. You shouldn't be a tool for them for the Zuckerbergs and Facebooks and the Googles of the world to grow their data. But as you are giving them their data, also use the algorithm, so they can be trained, in other words. So if you and I want to use TikTok maybe because this is the most advanced algorithm, I think, today. And the amount of content there has grown a lot. At first, it was just funny videos and cats and babies, but now there's lawyers, there's how to build a business, there's contracting, there's marketing, all sorts of stuff. So if you go onto TikTok and you start scrolling on TikTok and you see a video that is about entrepreneurship, it's about business, about marketing, whatever it is that you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in making pot plants, and whatever it is you want to learn, stop on that video, like the video, comment on that video and say, this person's doing great, and maybe even open up the profile. That is going to tell TikTok you want to see more of this kind of stuff. But it also means that when you do stop on a cat video, unless you really love cats and you want to build a business around cats, it means scroll up. Don't watch any longer, scroll up. And then over time, you would have taught TikTok to be your trainer, your mentor, your coach on whatever content you're looking for. And so that's one part, teach the algorithms. I think that's important. The second one is you got to be part of the conversation. So if it's in the threads, get into the threads, learn about the threads. If it's on those comments on TikTok, learn about those comments, get into them. But also comment in, weigh in. What are your thoughts? Like some of them, and if you want, you can also start retweeting and and creating your own videos and so on, and add to the conversations. This I think this one is not one that I explore a lot, but I want to be doing more of. And then the other one is, you got to know where there is low, what is the word? High like ROI for your time when you're producing. So and I think this one's important in terms of telling your story across, right? If you're marketing your business, or you're building your brand, or you just want to tell your story and be part of the conversations, the two platforms today, 2022, that will give you the biggest ROI is TikTok and LinkedIn. If you're a business and like you're a visual business, and your product should be seen and it looks good and that excites people, then Instagram is your place. But there is a cost to that, because it's not as organic. The algorithm is not organic. You will have to pay a little bit, but you can be using Reels on Instagram. You can be using stories. Those will give you some organic reach. But it depends on your product and so on. But in general, if you got no budget, or you're starting with limited budget, including time, TikTok and LinkedIn. And I think a third one, I don't know, 3 or 4, which number I'm on now, but this one is hectic. This one, you got to document your journey. Like this one, I think this is the one that trips people up. It keeps tripping me up, is you got to tell your story as it is today, authentic, and document it as it progresses. I heard something like people don't buy products, they buy stories, something like that. But like and which also means for you as a business person, as an entrepreneur, people aren't partnering with you because you sell the best pizza. They're not coming to buy from your store because you sell the best pizza. They may be coming to buy from your store because your pizza is using 50% less energy, because you're recycling the wood or whatever the case might be. And that story is all about what people care about. And you talk about the times when you had to go 2 months looking for the right wood, because it matters so much. That's the one. Yeah, people don't care. People don't care. People don't care about what you. Yeah, people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And so, as part of your story, and documenting your journey, it's about telling the world how much you care and why you are on this journey. And that's why people will partner with you, I believe. That's why people will buy from you. That's why people will follow you, and they will and that's why we also follow other people, because we care about what they care. Their experiences that they're going through, we also going through. And I think that social media shouldn't be seen as a place to market and sell, but it's really a place to have a conversation with the world, just like you would with your friends. And I think young people, especially, millennials and the Gen Zs, hate adverts, hate marketing, hate being sold to. And social media is the space to take that conversation back and turn products and business into sustainable, authentic conversations. And I think that will resonate with a lot of young people on the continent. I think that's what we should be doing, on social media, in documenting our journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your tips with us for as using your social media as a tool to encourage your entrepreneurial mindset. I especially love like the points that you were bringing up about your brand, using your brand, and the messaging that you bring across. Because if we really think about it, social media is essentially just a technological, broad word of mouth engine, and we've always been doing marketing, and our best leads come from word of mouth. We will take someone's opinion, someone that we trust, someone whose opinion we regard highly. We'll trust that. That's why the influencing industry is as huge as it is, because it's basically just word of mouth. We trust the opinion of someone better than knowing that we are being marketed to. So using that, utilizing that, and yeah, create your content, guys. Put it out there. Put everything out there. And like Buntu has said, document your journey from start to finish, where you are now. People want to see your real story in real time. People want to live through your journey with you. And part of cultivating that entrepreneurial mindset and working towards, a business, or, a company, or, something, a big project that you want to start, is showing us that journey, showing us, from point A to point B, how you're getting there, what's in between, those little things that you think are not important, but you have never seen someone else show that. So that's a gap in the market then for you. That's a gap for you to show us then how you did that. And especially the simple things. We think that it needs to be big and beautiful and aesthetically pleasing at all times, but that's why TikTok is as big as it is now, because it's literally just people talking about, I'm sitting on this chair now, I'm thinking about this, and then they get like million likes, millions of views, because we're showing things in real time.
And this is the magic cue, which you touched on, is when you are documenting your journey, as real as it is, you have to accept your journey. You have to accept where you're at, and you have to come to your truth. You have to be clear on your principles and what you matter about, because that's what people connect on. And finding that for yourself is even a bigger gift for me. I think it's even a bigger gift than having a successful business, because you get to find and love yourself, and that self then becomes the ingredient to a successful business, in my view. That understanding of who you want to be clearly and who you are, and accepting it. You take away all the filters from your business deals and your contracts. You do good business because you know where you're at, you know what you're about. You don't try to manipulate your customers and make things look better than or worse than they are. Because you know what you're about, and the customers that will come with you, they'll understand that as well. So I think that part about documenting your journey, becoming yourself, is the best gift. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, thank you so much, Buntu. So that's it, folks. Thank you so much for watching this video. You'll get your recording really soon. Thank you to our amazing Tech Tribe youth community. We are so happy to be on this journey with you, to be doing everything that we're doing with you. We hope to bring you so much more impactful and insightful content in the future. Please do tell us what you want to learn about, what you want to know, engage as much as possible. We'll also, in the email, we'll send you Buntu's social media account, so you can follow him there and follow along on his amazing journey thus far, and where he's going to go next, and everything that he's going to do, which is going to be amazing. You will want to be along for the ride. So please do follow him everywhere. Follow the social media accounts to stay up to date with everything that we are doing. Keep an eye out in your inboxes for all of your emails from us. We will always bring you the most value that we can possibly do. So thank you so much for spending this time with us. This has been using your social media as a tool to encourage your entrepreneurial mindset with the fabulous and amazing Buntu Majaja. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day further. Bye.